Dixie Country and Prattville Alive invite you to join us now for a preview of this week's Prattville Lions football game. The Coach J.B. Wallace Show is coming to you live from El Patron Mexican Grill on Cobb's Ford Road in Prattville. Tonight's show is powered by Larry Puckett Chevrolet, Pepsi, Prattville Farm Center, Durbin Auto Parts, and by True Pull Trailers. Let's go live to El Patron Mexican Grill for tonight's Coach J.B. Wallace Show, hosted by Chris Britton.
All right, good evening, Lion Nation. It's great to, I don't know, it's kind of, the weather's changing outside. The humidity's not 1,000%. It's going down a little bit. The temperature, it's not really dropping, but it's a little less. It could only mean one thing. It's football season in Alabama. I'm your host, Chris Britton, here for the J.B. Wallace Show, and I am joined by, of course, the guy the show's named after, Coach J.B. Wallace. Coach, how you doing tonight?
Man, I'm great. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. It's so good to see you. I haven't talked to you since last year. No, I'm kidding.
It seems like it.
Doesn't it, though? But anyway, well, Coach, let's just jump right in. It's a new season, a lot of different things going on. Let's talk a little bit about the summer leading up. I mean, closing out last season, and then what the program looked like through the summer.
Well, we took the first week of June off. Well, I say that. We took the last 2 weeks of May off. The first week of June, we started back in our off-season program. Now, this is more extensive than just working out and running. You know, that's when we meet. We have character development. You know, we do all those things. We teach them the scheme, and we go out and rep the scheme, and we have various days, be it, you know, speed, straight line speed, lateral speed, plyometrics type of thing.
Right.
So each day we do something different. We really hone in on special teams, really find out who's who, and really find out who's committed to the process. And that's what it's all about. I mean, it's not the easiest time of the year to get it done, but we make it challenging.
The hottest time anyway.
So the guys that made it through that you see on the roster right now, they really earn their right to be there.
Certainly. Well, and that's an interesting point, too, because it's not always the case, but usually seniors are your leaders. And obviously you lose a crop of seniors and leaders every year. What's that look like as far as leadership development? You kind of spoke to that talking about character development, but tell us a little bit about that, how you've seen some guys evolve maybe.
Well, we put a lot of responsibility on the seniors. You know, we expect them to lead the team, and our team ultimately should be who those guys are. You know, your locker room will tell you a whole lot about who your team is.
Sure.
And, you know, we had a camp, in which we'll probably get to it, where we had like a fall camp, and we kept the boys overnight. And, you know, we had time to pull certain guys in meetings, and we had that discussion with them. And, you know, so we got a chance to develop the personality of the guys and all that good stuff, and it's been great.
That's awesome. Now, something I thought of, ashamedly, I've just been busy. I haven't been able to make it to near as many practices as I like to. Haven't been out much, but I've been watching on Facebook, and I see there's a good bit of, you got some new faces on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we got a lot of new faces, you know, guys that I'm very excited about having them part of the staff and part of the line family. Starting with the offensive coordinator, Brian Dickerson.
Well, now he's a new face, but not a new face at the same time.
Right. We were together when we came here in 2021. He was offensive coordinator then, so he's a guy that I, you know, hold to high regard. You know,
sure.
He's a hard worker, passionate about what he does, very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And we were able to get him back. His demeanor and how he does things been perfect with our development.
And his previous stop was head coach, correct?
Yeah, he was the head coach at Sheffield High School. That's up near Florence, where we were actually at Florence together there as well. So we have him, our offensive line coach, Coach Goebel. He came in. He's a guy that was out of state. I think he was Arkansas. Right?
Oklahoma's where he came from. I met him just before the show.
Oklahoma, yeah. So we got him in coaching the offensive line. He's a guy that comes in with a lot of passion, a lot of energy. He's knowledgeable of the game, so we're excited to get him in. D-line wise, well, before we go there, let's talk about strength and conditioning coach, Coach Page.
Sure.
You know, he's the veteran on the staff.
Yeah.
You know, been there, done that guy. And, you know, and he comes full tilt every day.
Yeah.
He's nonstop on the practice field. So we're glad to get him, you know, here part of the family. He's also a hard worker, very knowledgeable. And his accolade speaks highly of who he is.
Sure.
Defensively, Coach Bush. He's our D-line coach, and also run game coordinator. He's our co-coordinator there. And you talk about a guy that's a film junkie.
Yeah.
You know, like he's a guy that'll watch film and he'll come back and he just how he absorbs things and how he can break down opponents and even the things that we're doing, you know, all the things there, you know, but he brings that to the table. Our defensive coordinator, Coach Bullen, he coaches safeties. You know, he's a very knowledgeable guy. He comes from the same tree, similar from the same tree that I was brought up in. So, you know, he's got those Coach Clark ties, and he's coached some big-time football. You know, and he brings a lot to the table, energy, the intensity that you want from a defensive coordinator. You know, he brings all that to the table. Our corners coach, Coach Jackson, Benson, or Coach Bo, depending on what you want to call him. His name's Benson Jackson. He says he's a real Coach Bo.
The real Bo?
Yeah, that's what he says. We call him the Great Value Bo, which is, I'm a great value guy. I mean, I ain't got a problem with great value, but he's Great Value Bo. But anyway, he's a gentleman that he coached with us in Florence as well. He was my corners coach, and didn't take me long. He started off coaching junior high. He was my 8th grade defensive coordinator. And what stuck out to me the most about him, he would handle that down there, and he put together great defenses down there, and he would come up to our practice every day, and he would watch what we were doing every day and stay in our meetings at night, break down film with us, you know, as a junior high coach. So I was like, mid-season, you know, the guy I had coaching DBs at the time, he's like, Coach, he said, your junior high coach is probably more of a fit. You know,
how about that?
I'm a better coach when he's around.
How about that?
So I said, man, I kind of told him, I said, you were volunteering. Now I got to have you. Yeah. So that's kind of how that goes.
That's cool.
Him and Coach Dickerson, they are also state champion track guys.
How about
they
that?
They were track coaches, and they had players win state and all that kind of stuff. So they, you know, they bring that aspect to the table as well. But all in all, you know, on the varsity staff, I hope I'm not missing anything. I mean, those are the guys that we have new on our staff.
Yeah. Now, well, a couple things. One, when that Benson Jackson hire was announced, at least for me, there was a little buzz like, is that Bo's son? You know, we didn't know.
Yeah, call it what you want. He thinks he's a real Bo. That's what he thinks. You know, he thinks he's a real Bo. But, man, very humble guy.
Yeah.
Humble guy, hard worker. He comes with a different type of energy. That's the common denominator with all these guys, the energy that they bring to the room.
Yeah.
Like, they're not just there. Man, they're not just there just watching and just clapping every now and then. These guys are full tilt bringing the energy. So, you know, I'm glad to get all those.
And players feed off of that.
Absolutely.
That's exciting. Now, all right, I believe I understand correctly, of those coaches that, and you just listed off several coaches, several of those have head coach experience, which isn't a requirement, obviously, to be a coordinator, but golly, it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't. And that's what Coach Dickerson, you know, brings to the table. On our end, like a lot of things, now that he's been in that seat, he sees stuff before it happens.
Yeah.
And he's telling me, hey, Coach, look, you probably need to go ahead and this is probably going to happen. And I'll handle this for you. You tell me how you want to do it. He goes and handle that, and I can go in this direction. So we kind of tag team a lot of those things together. You know, we'll have conversations on the weekend, and you know, I plan the whole week, he and I, and he goes and he takes his part and he runs it. Mm-hmm. But, you know, even before he became a head coach, he always had that personality.
Sure.
And he had that work ethic, you know, but being a head coach, it gave him that experience, and now he understands how important, especially small details of the job and what it's about.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you touched on it, talking about kind of the prep and the summer program. I had a bit of a retreat, kind of an overnight thing recently. Tell us a little bit about that.
Man, well, the goal was, for one, I wanted to get our team together and let them spend a lot of time together so we can gel as a family. It was all about building family. I know, you know, you could be a teammate of mine, I can go out and play hard, but when you spent that time with me at a camp where it's rough for everybody, and you kind of had my back and you're there with me, you kind of build that bond a little bit closer. Yeah. And so that was the first thing I wanted to do, is kind of bring them together to be a family. And so we did a lot of football. We did a lot of football practice. We did a lot of meetings. And not all meetings were X and O meetings. Some meetings, we had groups. We separated them into different groups by class. And we talked to them about character. We talked to them about academics. We talked to them about, you know, how to carry yourself in the community as a young man, what it's like to be a Prattville Lion. I mean, we talked to them about a whole lot of things. And I think we got a lot accomplished. I think those guys left those meetings better than they were before they got in there. You know, but we were able to break the game down, offense, defense, special teams, and we really were able to hone in on those 3 parts of it. And, you know, not only just practice, but, you know, the meetings, the film, knowing the why we're doing this, not just the what. We were able to just really get down to the bare bone foundation of this thing and really build it in a fast pace over those 2 days. And that's what we got from it.
Now, and it's almost tradition. I believe there was a movie I watched made by a Prattville alumnus.
Yeah. Ricardo Bates, of course everybody knows him, played here. He's on the 2016. Man, high character guy, man. Always been a high character guy. But he, made the movie, created the movie the Prattville way.
Yeah, Prattville way.
And so he gave me the rights to the movie to be able to show it to the team. He worked it out. He was glad to do it, and just to show them, what this place used to be like. You'd be shocked how many of them never knew.
How about that?
Never knew. And some of those guys were watching that movie, and they were glued because they saw, man, this is our locker room. This is our field house. It's the stadium that's our home stadium.
Yeah.
So it was great to be able to show them that, and I wanted them to be able to realize that you're just not at some cookie cutter high school. You're at Prattville High School. And it's got to mean something to you to be at Prattville High School. There's a lot of places that have a lot of good things going, but there ain't nothing like Prattville.
This community cares a little bit more than others, I feel like.
And you're absolutely right. It's a different feel when you're in Prattville, Alabama, and and this thing is rolling. It's a different feel.
Yeah. Now, one of the things you mentioned just made me think while you're talking about the video. They were remarking about, hey, that's our locker room.
Right.
There's some changes coming to that, right? I mean, what's going on there?
Yeah, they are expanding our locker room. We're gonna renovate some things. The locker room, as far as the bathrooms, the showers, all that's gonna be
much needed.
Much needed. Yeah, we're gonna renovate those. Coaches' offices, coaches' locker room, more storage space, meeting rooms, all that is going to be redone, and I can't wait.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, Coach, don't go anywhere. We're just getting started, all right? But we are about ready to take a break. So tonight we're here live at El Patron Restaurant in Prattville, Alabama on Cobbs Ford Road, right across from Larry Puckett Chevrolet. So if you're out and you want some delicious dinner, come visit with us here at El Patron. You can be a live member of our guest audience. We got a bunch of big fellas sitting at the table over here. If I had to guess, they're probably D linemen. No, I'm kidding. I know they're O linemen. I just throw a little insult at you. One D lineman, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's one in every bunch, right? But we're here at El Patron Restaurant. We'd love to have you come visit us. If you're listening on the radio, thanks for being a part of the show. If you're watching online, thank you to you as well. We'll be right back after this break.
In the Deep South, we really enjoy being outdoors.
Hey guys, it's Chris Britton, host of the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We're so excited to be coming to you live each week from my favorite Mexican restaurant, El Patron Mexican Grill, at 2152 Cobbs Ford Road, right across the street from Larry Puckett Chevrolet. They got a huge menu with all of your favorite authentic Mexican dishes. My kids love it. In fact, they get a free drink with their kids' meal, so that's an awesome perk. If you go on a Sunday after church, bring your bulletin with you, you get a 10% discount. My personal favorite is the chicken chimichanga. It's fantastic. El Patron Mexican Grill in Prattville.
For well over 50 years, the river region has depended on Arrow Pest Control, which has grown to be one of the largest and most respected pest control science leaders in the area. Pest control is a science that eliminates pests that invade and potentially damage your property. They use only the top-rated pest control products, including the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System. Arrow Pest Control was built on customer service and satisfaction, and that's still number one today. Call us, 334-365-4610, and find out about mosquito control. Arrow, your best shot for pest control.
It's the Make This the Summer event at Stivers and no payments until November. New Ram 2500s, 20,000 off. Or new Ram 1500 Bighorns, get 13,000 off. Only at
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Only Stivers has 0% APR financing for up to 36 months during the Make This the Summer event. Upgrade to Grand Cherokee, Wrangler, Gladiator, or Compass with no interest financing for 3 years for a limited time at
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
From El Patron Restaurant here in Prattville, Alabama. New scenery for us, a new location. We're so thankful that they were so kind as to allow us to broadcast the show from here. If you're driving around Prattville, we'd love to have you come drop in, be a part of the live studio audience. I'm here, as always, with Coach J.B. Wallace, head coach of the Prattville Lions. Coach, we were talking a little bit about facilities before the break, talking about locker room and field house improvements and additions. Give us a little bit of update with the stadium, and we'll talk a little bit about where we're going to be this year. But what's going on there with the stadium here in Prattville?
Well, I tell you, before I touch on it, you
Yeah.
know, one of the things, and he may be a guest on in a minute, you know, I spoke with a new AD, Coach Bourne, and you know, we just discussed the importance of you know, being able to have a weight room. That's the place that we spend most of the time, and you know, I think there may be an opportunity possibly that we can look into, you know, getting new equipment and being able to,
how about that?
you know, be modern in what we're doing in the weight room.
That's
so
important.
That's something that we could possibly, now we haven't gotten the green thumb on that yet, but that's something that Coach Bourne definitely understands and sees that we need to improve on.
Fantastic.
Stadium-wise, you know, I ride through from time to time just to see
Me too.
the progression, man. And that, I can say this, they're moving. Seems
Yeah.
like they're moving at a fast rate. And man, it's going to be new locker rooms, new home side, new concession stands, bathrooms, and all that, man. It's going to be a great place to play here.
Even new parking.
New parking.
It's paved.
Yes.
Go figure.
Which hadn't been that way in forever. But yeah, it's going to be a great environment, man. I can't wait. You know, just to see to have a nice locker room to come out of, and our guys be able to go and perform for the city. It's going to be great.
That's exciting. So with that said, obviously, you know, if you're new to Prattville or don't know what's going on, there's a renovation project going on at Stanley Jensen Stadium, being updated, or really not even a facelift. It's almost reconstruction. It's going to be something special. It's really nice. But by virtue of that fact that with the construction project going on, our school board had to go to work and find a home away from home, which we landed on the Prattville Stanley Stadium Northeast, just in Wetumpka.
Right.
So be playing home games about 25-ish minutes away from home. What does that look like? And I know some stuff. How have we been prepping for that?
Well, my main priority was to make sure we do everything we can to make Wetumpka feel like home. You know, feel like our home field.
Yeah.
And so in order to do that, you know, I felt like it was a great opportunity to get our guys on that field to practice.
Yeah.
So we've been able to practice there. I think we've had 3 practices on that field.
I think that's so important.
Oh yeah. So our guys kind of get a feel for the landscaping, the turf, and all that kind of stuff. You know, they've been in the locker room. They know how that is, how that setup's going to be. So we've done everything we could to make that feel like a home stadium for us. You know, it's not the first time we're touching that field tomorrow.
All right.
You know, we've been there 3 times. It'll be the 4th time. So we've done that, and just getting acclimated with the drive. Excuse me. It was great for me and as a staff, so we can kind of gauge how long it's really going to take us, because we plan our day down to the minute.
Yeah.
And you know, we got caught in the traffic one day, so now we know if there's traffic at this time, this is how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
If it's no traffic, this is how long it's going to take. So we've seen the both parts of that, both sides of that. So yeah, but that's just part of the process of being able to get there and make it home.
Well, that's cool, and it's not just practice. It sounds like it's almost dress rehearsal, kind of, so to speak.
Yeah. You know, pregame. There's a whole lot that goes into it. We don't just show up and play. So those that think that we're gonna leave Prattville at 6:20.
Yeah, for a 7 o'clock kick.
Yeah, it don't work that way. Then we kind of got to get there, get through our pregame routine. This is the mental aspect of it. The guys get to feel the environment, and that's why it's important that we get tons of fans out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want our guys to absorb that environment. I want them to see, you know, how much the community supports them, and regardless of the situation that we're going through at the stadium, I want them to see that the support is going to follow us here, and then they're going to go out and perform for the city. These guys are going to do it.
Well, and I'm looking dead at the camera if you're listening on the radio. I'm looking at your radio dial if you're listening on the radio. Now more than ever, I think it's so important to be there at the home games. Now, it's just a little drive down the road. It's not that far. Right. But Lions fans, I would encourage you to come out. And today's Wednesday. Thursday is not traditionally a football night in Alabama, but it is this week. And there's only one other week this season where it's a Thursday night game, if I'm correct, right?
You are correct.
Okay.
And then it makes for a fun Friday.
Yeah.
You know, you went out and you had fun. You watched good football on Thursday. And Friday, you can go into the weekend with a good feeling. So it makes for a fun Friday.
So Lions fans, let me encourage you to come out in full force. I would love to, no hate towards Wetumpka, but I'd love to not see any yellow and black because there's so much Cardinal in the stadium.
Yeah, and if we need to leak over to the other side and get some seating over there, I mean, that's fine too.
I think it'd be a fantastic problem to have.
We'll make sure you have a seat, a place to sit.
So, all right, with that said, tomorrow being, and we'll touch on the actual game, but I'm thinking just the game day. What does that look like tomorrow? And kicks off with a breakfast, you know, kind of walk us through tomorrow's day.
Yeah, well, there is a pep rally tomorrow.
I'll be there, brother. I'm
yes,
excited.
Sir.
I just got the call.
Yes, sir. So you're going to have it rocking tomorrow.
Come on, you know it.
That's what I need to know. That's what I need to know. So we're going to have a pep rally that's going to be the first one of the year, of course, but it's going to be second to none. That environment is going to be explosive.
I was telling somebody today, when it's the first, all the pep rallies are great, but every year that first one is just nuclear.
That's
I mean,
right.
it's crazy. It's almost scary. It's so
right, and hats off to Miss Coach Smith, the
Yeah.
cheer coach Jennifer Smith, man. She puts all that together, and she spends a lot of time doing that. She spends a lot of time, just leading those girls and them supporting our football team.
Sure.
I just want to, give a shout out to her and say thank you for everything that you do.
Yeah.
That young lady does so much that's way beyond cheer.
people just don't see.
People don't see it.
Well, same thing with you. You do a whole bunch of behind the scenes stuff too.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I see some of the stuff that she does.
I get it.
Even meet the lines. I mean, she's had her fingerprints all over that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you talk about detail. She's detailed with everything.
That's
going
awesome.
on with that, which
Yeah,
is
I'll
great.
have a full production schedule for
There you
tomorrow
go.
morning in my email. Let me know what to do when.
Oh yeah, and she'll tell me what time I need to be at the gym, and she'll probably tell me what time we need to start walking over.
Yeah.
So that's how that works.
Yeah. So breakfast, United Christian
United
Church
Christian
is the host.
That'll be
So
tomorrow, so we'll get that started, man.
I checked in with Pastor Greta today. I don't know what breakfast is going to be, but it's going to be awesome.
Oh, it always is. It always is. Her and Pastor D, man, they
Yeah.
get it going there. So that's how we'll start the day off. And for me, at prayer breakfast, that's kind of how I find out the mindset of the guys.
Yeah.
I kind of like to sit back and I can watch and I can kind of tell. I can tell at prayer breakfast if they're ready to go.
Yeah.
And they know, man. I need to see you ready to go at prayer breakfast. You ain't got to be stone-faced. You ain't got a game in 2 or 3 hours, but I need to see that you're mentally locked in.
Yeah.
I can kind of tell their demeanor because they got an everyday demeanor.
Uh-huh.
And then a lot of our guys flip that switch when they get on that grass.
Yeah.
And then there's a game day demeanor. Certain
Yeah.
guys they have that about them. So we'll have that prayer breakfast and then we'll come back for the pep rally. We'll actually come back and we'll have some walkthroughs,
Yeah.
team meetings. A lot of my coaches give tests. So they'll come take a football test in
Yeah.
the morning. And then we'll go to the pep rally. And we'll come back and then we'll go throughout the day. We'll be released at some point to eat pregame meal, which is going to take place about 2:30, 2:45. And then from there, we'll have a walkthrough, we'll get taped and all that. And then we're going to make the transition to Wetumpka. And then we're going to set up camp there at our new home field
That's right.
for this year. And then we're going to get ready to play football.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's going to be fantastic. And I just expect the environment's going to be really crazy tomorrow. And I know there's always anticipation, a lot of excitement around the beginning of any football season. But I know, and I'm not going to say more than usual because there's always an unusual amount of support in Prattville. But I just expect tomorrow night to be a big deal. What do you look forward to from a fan attendance perspective for tomorrow night? What does it mean to the guys?
Man, it means the world to them because
Yeah.
for one, I mean, they're representing the city, first of all. They're
Right.
going out, they're playing hard. They've worked hard all summer. They worked hard at fall camp, and they want to go out and represent the city. And it's going to mean the world for the city to come out there and support those guys and show those guys that they're behind them. And that should carry over throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
But that energy has got to be there. That mindset's got to be there from the fans to the admin to the coaches to
Yeah.
the kids. Everybody's important for this place to be back to where it needs to be.
I was talking with another coach just earlier this week. The 12th man is a real thing.
It is.
It's not just Texas A&M.
It is.
It's the home stadium. It can be a game changer.
Yes, it can be a game changer. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it here at Prattville for several years.
Uh-huh.
When that crowd is like that and that student section is like
Yeah,
that.
like
that
no
12
other.
That 12th man is something else. It'll make snaps go bad.
Yeah.
It'll make a whole lot of stuff. It's going to be intimidating.
Yeah.
Prattville is known, and Stanley Jensen Stadium is for one of the most intimidating places to play.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality that we got to get back.
I believe I saw a list, maybe 2 or 3 years back of some of the toughest stadiums in the state of Alabama to play, and Stanley Jensen was on that list. So we're just going to be in a different stadium, same people tomorrow night.
Right. Different stadium, same people.
Yeah, different address.
Right. Correct.
All right. Well, listen, folks, those of you who are tuning into the show on the radio, we're so glad that you're listening to us on Dixie Country 100.1. Those of you who are watching us on Facebook Live, we're so glad to have you as part of the show as well. If you are listening on the radio, we'd invite you to come be a part of the show. We're at El Patron Restaurant, a Mexican restaurant right here across the street from Larry Puckett Chevrolet. We got quite a few players. We got some flag football players. We got some coaches. We're going to hear from the AD. So we've got a whole lot of show left for you tonight. Don't turn that dial or turn that screen off. Stay with us. But we are about to take a break. So you're listening to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back after this break.
Durbin Auto Parts on South Memorial Drive is proud to be a supporter of Prattville Lions Athletics. As your locally owned CarQuest dealer, the Durbin family assures you that they'll get the right parts the first time. They also carry the full line of steel power equipment and die-hard batteries. When you do business with Durbin Auto Parts, your money stays in Prattville so they can support the local community and great programs like Prattville Lions Athletics. Durbin Auto Parts, 948 South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
Think local. Think of all the skill and talent found right here in our community. Hands that build, hands that feed, teach, protect, and hands that heal. Guardian Credit Union reaches out to people just like you. Handling loans for new cars, opening doors to new homes, saying yes to fun and adventure. When you need a strong, steady financial hand, think local. Think Guardian.
You know why I purchased my vehicles from Larry Puckett Chevrolet?
Hi, I'm Greg Pouncey. I've been with Larry Puckett Chevrolet for 20 years.
I'm Kurt Mills. I'm the General Sales Manager, and I've been with Larry Puckett Chevrolet for 34 years.
I'm Lewis Mills. I'm the Service Manager at Larry Puckett Chevrolet, and I've been here for 35 years.
Well, that's why. Unlike other dealers, I know they will be there when I need them. At Larry Puckett Chevrolet, they let the customers do the talking.
Well, good evening. Welcome back, Prattville Lions Nation, to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. I'm your host, Chris Britton. We're coming to you live from El Patron Restaurant right here in Prattville, Alabama on Cobbs Ford Road, right across the street from Larry Puckett Chevrolet. So if you're out, come join us. We've still got about 30 minutes of show left. Even if you get here towards the tail end, you can get some fantastic dinner here at El Patron. Well, Coach Wallace, we've got a guest that's going to join us for this segment. A newcomer to Prattville High School, but a veteran of Alabama athletics. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this guy sitting to my right?
And Coach Bourne, man, he's been there, coached college on the college level, he's coached on the high school level, tons of experience. You know, the thing that I've seen coming straight out of the gate that, you know, he takes off and he goes and he makes stuff happen. You know, I talked to him about his vision. He's talked to me about my vision and what I want to see out of our program, and we collaborate a lot. And he's been leading the way, and we're very excited to have him part of the Prattville family.
Fantastic. Coach Bourne, how you doing? Welcome.
And I'm doing great.
Welcome to
Appreciate you having
Prattville,
me.
but welcome
Absolutely.
to the show.
Yeah, not new to Prattville, but new to the show. So I'm excited. You know, I've heard a lot about this. You know, I can remember riding around when I was, you know, just moved to Prattville and like just riding down the road, and I'd hear, you know, the show on. Yeah. So I'd listen, you know, being in the athletic world, but it's incredible to be here tonight, and I'm excited to be on with you guys.
So give us a little bit about your lineage of sports in the state of Alabama. Your coaching tree, where all you been?
Well, my coaching tree really started for me, I guess, when I was about 4 years old.
How about that?
My dad's been a high school coach in this state for 25, 30 years, was a head college coach in this state. And so, I, like a lot of people, I grew up in it, you know. And so I don't know that I ever really had a choice on what I wanted to do. But no, I started my career really 2007. I got involved as student assistant GA at Faulkner University. Really fortunate. I don't know why Josh Niblett hired me, but at 22 years old, got hired at Hoover High School as a receiver coach. I had a credible run there. But again, going back to my dad, I wanted to coach with him. So my journey, we've kind of been together now, I guess, every year since 2011. We were in Mississippi for a year. Majority of my career was at Faulkner University in Montgomery. I had a great run of it there from 12 to 17. And like a lot of people, we had a decision to make. Do you want to continue to chase this around, move all over the country and all that? And what we found is, my wife teaches here in this community. She's at Prattville Primary School, and we love Prattville. And so we sort of made a decision as a family. We want to be here. We want to raise our kids here. We want to be ingrained in this community. And so I had the opportunity to kind of get out of college. But we've always made Prattville our home. So I've been at Mountain Brook, Pike Road, most recently head coach and athletic director at Montebello High School in Birmingham.
Well, welcome to the Prattville program now.
Absolutely.
So glad to have you part of the team. Community, and you spoke to it. Prattville community is serious about football. They love to get behind it and support. Being the new athletic director at Prattville High School, I'm sure there's ways that you could use support from the community. What are some things that the community can do to get on the team with you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing is show up. You know, we want you to be loud. We want you to be at the game tomorrow. We want to create a hostile environment for Pike Road. And I have no doubt that the community in Prattville is going to do that because I've seen that firsthand. You know, I think back, I've said this before, but I think back to 2009, you know, I was a young receiver coach at Hoover High School, and like Hoover's a great program. And then we played at Bryant Denny one time, and I looked down from the press box, and my goodness, the whole lower bowl was filled with Prattville people.
Right.
And so I know what Prattville's about. I think people in this community are very proud of that. So before anything else, let's be active, let's be engaged, let's support our kids. Everything we do here in this school system and at Prattville High School and at Tarleton County Schools in general is about promoting our young children.
Right.
You know, whether you have, you know, members of the band, members of the cheerleaders, ROTC, it's about kids, and that's the mission and the ultimate goal. So we want to see you be supportive there in that regard. For us, as specifically in this department, you know, obviously the name of the game has changed in today's climate, and so you're seeing things happen at the NFL level, and then it trickles down to the college, and it will trickle to us too. And so I think my job and one of my roles is to try to promote our student athletes as best we can. You know, we recently have signed with Pure Game Sports, which I'm really excited about. You've probably seen the great graphics already. First class professional.
I was going to ask about that.
I think that really matters in today's climate of athletics, that we promote and brand our programs and brand our kids and try to figure out how to get them, you know, what they want out of being an athlete.
Right.
So
and it's almost like it's one Prattville. It's not silos of different sports. It's one Prattville.
Oh, absolutely. And so I think we did that department-wise. We had 8 sports that jumped on board with that. We're going to try to promote and brand our athletes and our individual teams here in a first-class manner. You know, I think, again, what is the expectation at Prattville? There's history and tradition and legacy here. So when you turn on social media and you see a graphic, it doesn't need to be, you know, a graphic of somebody just in the stands that has really no editing experience. We want it to be presented in a certain way.
Sure.
You know, and so we're doing that. Excited to talk about. We're going through not a rebrand. Our Power P carries a lot of weight and tradition
iconic,
here. Yeah, I mean, you look at that right there, and that's what it is here. You know, and but we are starting to work on developing some type fonts and the way we use our logo and how do we uniformity, I guess would maybe be the word, so that there's consistency in our athletic department with color schemes and all the different nuances that go into that. And so we work really hard on that, or in the process now of developing committee and going through that process, and we're really excited about that. So that's sort of the design, the branding element of it.
Sure.
Obviously, from a business standpoint, you know, in today's world, it really is about revenue. And so, you know, how do we pay our coaches so that we can attract high-quality coaches, high-quality assistants? Coach Wallace would tell you he's no good if it's him by himself. And so I'm really appreciative to Lyman Woodfin and our Board of Education of working on our salary schedule this past spring. I think our coaches now are paid at a really, really high level. And I think we've got great high-quality coaches in over this hiring cycle as a result of that. So we've got to have, you know, that financial support there. We need to build facilities. You know, Prattville was at the forefront of building facilities back in the day. They built an indoor stuff. Incredible. You know what? That was 20 years ago. And so we need to touch
it. It's the same one.
And I met with Coach Wallace the other day about how can we work on what's a great shell and let's bring it to life and let's redo weight rooms and let's build graphics and all that. So I think my job is to work on all the things that maybe sometimes get lost in the shuffle if you're just dealing with a day-to-day grind of going out and trying to win games. And so I've worked really hard on that. You know, the big project we want right now, so we're pushing some corporate sponsors and some corporate partnerships in the community. We're trying to figure out a way to raise some money so that we can build a second weight room. You know, I met with every head coach on this campus right out of the gate. And I did very little talking and a lot of listening. And I really thought I would hear, we need a second gym at Prattville High School. And we do. Right. You know, but the number one thing that was spoken to me was, Coach, we got to figure out a way to fix this weight room issue. We got 600 athletes in this school.
Training
majority of our kids are seventh period athletes. Probably 300 kids in seventh period varsity athletes. How do we train them? And so from our standpoint, we need another facility. And so we have found some space on our campus that I think we can kind of rearrange, move some walls. And I think it would be a very, very suitable space to put a second weight room. And why does that matter for all athletics? You know, JB right now is dealing with the numbers game and the issues of all that. And so if we can figure out a way to put a really nice facility in the gym, it's ease of access for baseball, it's ease of access for football, and it just eliminates the overcrowding, allows us to get some new equipment, and again, that's all a pipe dream, you know, and what makes dreams reality sometimes are the financial contribution. So I think we're trying to work really hard on that. We do have some great corporate partners, not only in football. I think football here speaks for itself in terms of what they do from a reputation standpoint with the business community and getting great sponsorships and support. We're working on that in our athletic department as well, together under one umbrella, so that we can reinvest it back into our kids and ultimately give them the experience that they're going to want and desire.
Oh, I understand. So I'm from Kentucky. That's home to me. And we play that ball that bounces right. I don't understand that ball that doesn't bounce right sometimes.
Yeah.
But when I moved to Alabama, I realized what basketball was to me, football is here. And I know the fan base that has children who play other sports understand this, but it's hard for sometimes a football-minded community to think, hey, there's more sports than that, and they all need help.
Well, they all need help, sure. And, people equate me. I mean, somebody says, well, who's Blake Bourne? I think a lot of people in this area will tell you, well, he's a football coach. And I am a football coach, and I take pride in that. But, before I was a football coach, I was a collegiate golfer.
Yeah.
And before that, I played on one of the state travel tennis teams when I was 7, 8. My grandmother, who lived in Midfield, Alabama, had a tennis court in her backyard, and I started hitting tennis balls at 4 years old. And so at that time, when I was going to Louisiana, Mississippi, wherever we went, it was about being the best that we could be. And so our flag football players, they want the same experience our football players want.
Yeah.
Our football players want the same experience baseball wants. And so, again, Prattville's a unique community, a unique place, and our job is to give everybody that steps in that school a memorable experience so that when they look back on this thing, one day, and they will, what they did here mattered and it was impactful, and hopefully they have some fond memories of it.
That's fantastic. Well, Coach, thank you for being here with the show. We'll don't go too far. We'll keep you around, maybe talk with you a little bit more. But right now, we're about to take a break. We want to thank those of you who are listening to the show on Dixie Country 100.1. Thanks for being here with us, tuned in tonight. Also, those of you watching us online on Prattville Live on that Facebook network, thanks for being a part of the show. We are at El Patron Restaurant, right across the street from Larry Puckett Chevrolet on Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville. So if you're out in the community tonight, we've got a real nice crowd that are here at the show. We'd invite you to come be a part as well. Well, listen, you're listening to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back after this break. Hey guys, it's Chris Britton, host of the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We're so excited to be coming to you live each week from my favorite Mexican restaurant, El Patron Mexican Grill, at 2152 Cobbs Ford Road, right across the street from Larry Puckett Chevrolet. They got a huge menu with all of your favorite authentic Mexican dishes. My kids love it. In fact, they get a free drink with their kids' meal, so that's an awesome perk. If you go on a Sunday after church, bring your bulletin with you, you get a 10% discount. My personal favorite is the chicken chimichanga. It's fantastic. El Patron Mexican Grill in Prattville.
For well over 50 years, the river region has depended on Arrow Pest Control, which has grown to be one of the largest and most respected pest control science leaders in the area. Pest control is a science that eliminates pests that invade and potentially damage your property. They use only the top-rated pest control products, including the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System. Arrow Pest Control was built on customer service and satisfaction, and that's still #1 today. Call us, 334-365-4610, and find out about mosquito control. Arrow, your best shot for pest control.
It's the Make This the Summer event at Stivers and no payments until November. New Ram 2500s, $20,000 off. Or new Ram 1500 Bighorns, get $13,000 off. Only at
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Only Stivers has 0% APR financing for up to 36 months during the Make This the Summer event. Upgrade to Grand Cherokee, Wrangler, Gladiator, or Compass with no interest financing for 3 years for a limited time at
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Prattville Lions Nation, welcome to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We're so glad that you've tuned in tonight. If you're listening to us on Dixie Country 100.1 on the radio dial, so glad to have you, those of you watching us online as well. Thanks for being here with us on the J.B. Wallace Show. Coach, we are joined by another guest this segment. I've heard him describe himself as the best looking coach at Prattville.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, I mean, that's how he feels. I'm not going to tell him he's not. I mean,
the mirror should tell him.
Yeah, because then that's the rest of the show, because we're going to sit here and argue back and forth about it. And he don't mind either. So he wins. I'll give it to him.
Yeah, thank you.
Give it to him.
Well, welcome to the show, Coach Brian Pittman, softball coach at Prattville, but that's later on in the year. Right now, we're talking about a relatively new sport to Prattville High School, ladies flag football. So let's talk a little bit about last year. A little bit of success in year one.
Definitely. I definitely think we had a great run.
Yeah.
starting out the year, and like I said, we met a few times. I think expectations, we really didn't have any.
Yeah.
You know, you go out and win that first game against Opelika, and it had a little bit of everything from jumping out 14-0 to getting the game tied late, going to overtime and winning, and that just kind of propelled us. And, you know, we make a deep playoff run, getting to the semifinals, and end up losing to the eventual state champion, Central Phoenix City. But, you know.
What round when you lost, by the way?
That was the semifinals. We were
So
one
Final
game
Four.
away. Final
That's
Four.
Pretty cool.
Yes. So we hope this year we can take it a step further and get in that championship game this year.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, tell us, coaching staff. It's not just you. It takes a team of folks. Who all you got with you this year?
Well, same staff is back from last year. We have Coach Mike Battle, one of the brightest young coaches that we've got. He's our offensive coordinator. He kind of game plans everything for us and does a great job there. Obviously, Coach Fish, Jason Fisher, Prattville alum, he's running the defense, coordinates that for us. And we also have Devin Driver. He kind of does our EMT work as well. He's there as a trainer, and he helps in everything with special teams, defense. He just kind of does a little bit of, he's our jack of all trades. He does a little bit of everything.
Awesome, awesome. So, and we talked about this on the men's football side. Going to be a bit of an adventure not having a home stadium in Prattville this year. Tell us a little bit about where the Lady Lions flag football program are going to be playing, and I'm doing air quotes, I guess, our home games.
Well, this year we'll be at Marbury High School. So
just a short drive down the road.
Not too far. Right now we have 4 home games, possibly a 5th one if the Percy Julian game gets changed. We're working on that now. But for us, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal because last year we had to flip the schedule and everything home was in September, and then we were on the road the rest of the year. We played at Marbury in the semifinals against Central, so I don't think, you know, having to go up there is really not a big deal for us. It's something we're kind of used to right now. And I think our girls are just ready to play ball.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, I'm going to ask not a tough question, tough in the sense that who are some key players, and you want to name everybody. I understand that. But throw out some names that some of our Lions fans will be able to watch for in this upcoming season, some game-changer type people. And it would be everybody. I understand that.
Well, I mean, yeah, you would love to list everybody. Now. So I guess I got to say their names on that. But, you know, it all starts with our quarterback. Obviously, that's, you know, the point guard, the leader of your team.
Sure.
So Kay Chandler will be back as a senior.
Yeah.
Last year she had an unbelievable year throwing the ball all around, and she's just gotten better and better. So she's going to be asked to do a lot for us. You also have Lanaya Page. She just does everything from receiver to linebacker to returning kicks, you name it, she does it. And to me, she's one of the top 5 players in the state. You know, and when she's gone and going, I mean, there ain't many people that can stay with her. You've got another senior, Maddie Kate Lindsay. She does a little bit of everything. She plays center for us, which, and flag football center is eligible to go out for passes. So we run routes for her. She plays receiver, a little H-back. She'll play linebacker, safety. You've also got Hartley McKay. She's kind of our linebacker, kicker.
Utility player.
A little bit of everything, halfback, quarterback. You got London Williams, 8th grader, starts. And is as athletic and as good as anybody. She plays on both sides of the ball. And it started since the 7th grade. So
how many girls you got out overall?
We have 43 girls on the team between 2 teams.
That's fantastic. And then with that said, with flag football being a little bit newer sport to it, it's not brand new, it's no surprise, but it's newer to the Prattville fan base. What are some things that separate that rule-wise and play-wise from the men's football that we're used to watching? A lot of same, a little bit of different.
Yeah, the main difference is 7-on-7, so there are some similarities to what Coach Wallace and them do during the summer when they're going to these different things. The main differences are, number one, the center is eligible.
Right.
The second thing is there are no fumbles. The ball is dead where it's at. So if it's a punt and they drop it, anything like that, if it's a bad snap to the quarterback, hits the ground, it's dead immediately.
At that spot?
Yes, it is. And also, you know, we play 12-minute quarters, but it's running clock. Except for the 2nd and the 4th quarter, the last 2 minutes it stops just like a regular football game. So, you know, there's some similarities, there's some differences as far as that, but if you think it's homecoming powder puff, you are highly mistaken. I can promise you, if that's what you believe it is not. Our girls are aggressive, they attack, and, you know, last year, like I said, in the semifinals, we had 1,500, almost 2,000 people in the stands watching flag football.
How about that? It's a high-pace, high-speed game, is it not?
It is, and I mean, it's easy to watch because you're talking an hour and 15 minutes, and you're already back to the house.
How about that?
So, I mean, it's a short, quick thing, but it's very exciting.
Coach, so with the men's football team, I think I know the answer to this question. What role do they play with, when they're able, do they attend games, support, that kind of thing? What does that look like?
They do. They always come in and support whenever they can. I know their schedule is very similar to ours, and a lot of times we're on the field practicing. I see them on the other field practicing.
Yeah.
So they're spending a lot of time too, and I'm going to reiterate on what he said about going to the games. And this isn't homecoming powder puff.
Yeah.
Like this is, they get after it. Those girls play hard.
Well, you know one of the players real well, don't you?
Well, yeah. That's a whole, I do. I know one of the players real well. But I'll say this, one of my times I had fun this summer, Coach Pittman and I got to sit down and we talked some ball this summer.
We did.
Yeah, we just talked some ball, and then that's when I started realizing, all right, that is very similar to 7-on-7 with some exceptions or whatever. But, just being able to throw ideas on the board, he threw some, I threw some, and we kind of collaborated on some stuff. I mean, that was just fun talking ball. I mean, they playing some real football now.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. So so home games we played at Marbury this year. I'm going to ask a no-brainer question.
Okay.
Is it important for fans to be there in the stands?
Yes.
Prattville fans?
Always is. Just like any sport at Prattville, supporting it, and you feed off the energy. And these girls deserve it. They've put in work all summer. We're in the film room just about every day watching. And sky's the limit for this crew there. We're going to be preseason ranked number 2, which I know rankings doesn't matter, but
that's pretty cool in the second year of existence.
Coming out, ranked number 2 in the state, and we moved to the north now, so feel like we got an opportunity to really do some great things this year.
That's fantastic. What does a home game night look like? I mean, ticket price, are there concessions there? Since it's, is it just a normal game night? Pretty much?
It will be. We're on the road to start out this Saturday. We're in Hoover in a tournament.
Okay.
And then we turn around and Tuesday we'll have a varsity only game at 5:30 at Marbury against Montgomery Catholic. But yeah, there will be concessions. Gates usually $7. Okay. We can do GoFan or cash. And then next Thursday we actually have Smith Station coming in, and this is a JV varsity. So it's a chance to get to see them a little bit, and then we're kind of on the road again until October.
That's awesome. Anything else? We've got about a minute before this segment's over. Anything else you'd like to say to the community regarding flag football?
Like I said, we're a new growing sport. We're a new growing sport, and if you've never seen it before, it's definitely something to come out and see. And we want to just be successful like everybody else, and we're proud to represent Prattville, and hopefully we can represent them right before the 7-8 state championship game this year.
Hey, wouldn't that be something?
Wherever they're going to play that at, we'll be in it.
That's right. That's cool. Well, listen, Coach, thank you for stopping by. And he brought a few of his ladies with him. He named those ladies off. Got one of your DC is over here, mean mugging because he didn't get on the microphone, I think, Coach Jason Fisher. So he'll be all right.
We don't have a big enough camera for him. So
well, there it is. There it is. Shots fired, fans. If you want to see it, come to El Patron Restaurant because that's where we're broadcasting live tonight. Thanks for those of you who are tuned in on the radio, those of you watching on Facebook Live. This is the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back after this break.
Had to.
Durbin Auto Parts on South Memorial Drive is proud to be a supporter of Prattville Lions Athletics. As your locally owned CarQuest dealer, the Durbin family assures you that they'll get the right parts the first time. They also carry the full line of steel power equipment and die-hard batteries. When you do business with Durbin Auto Parts, your money stays in Prattville so they can support the local community and great programs like Prattville Lions Athletics. Durbin Auto Parts, 948 South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
Think local. Think of all the skill and talent found right here in our community. Hands that build, hands that feed, teach, protect, and hands that heal. Guardian Credit Union reaches out to people just like you. Handling loans for new cars, opening doors to new homes, saying yes to fun and adventure. When you need a strong, steady financial hand, think local. Think Guardian.
You know why I purchased my vehicles from Larry Puckett Chevrolet?
Hi, I'm Greg Pouncey. I've been with Larry Puckett Chevrolet for 20 years.
I'm Kurt Mims. I'm the general sales manager, and I've been with Larry Puckett Chevrolet for 34 years.
I'm Lewis Mills. I'm the service manager at Larry Puckett Chevrolet, and I've been here for 35 years.
Well, that's why. Unlike other dealers, I know they will be there when I need them. At Larry Puckett Chevrolet, they let the customers do the talking.
The Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We're coming to you live from El Patron Restaurant, a Mexican restaurant right here in Prattville, Alabama on Cobbs Ford Road. Thank you for listening, watching. It's not too late to come by and join the show, be a part of the live studio audience. We got, gosh, there's close to 30 Lions faithful, maybe a little bit more than that, a bunch of offensive linemen. There may not be food left if you come, people. No, I'm kidding about that. Well, Coach, let's talk about this. A lot of buzz about, we've been in the South Alabama region for quite some time, and there was a shift this year in the schools on each side, and so we got moved north. Got a new area. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, you know, fortunately, we were in a rough region last year.
No slouches.
I mean, it definitely, if it's an SEC of the regions, we were there. But then they moved us to the SEC again. So the positives to it is that our kids are used to competing at a high level.
There you go.
That's the positive. You know, we're not going into this region and our kids are going to be shell-shocked by the competition that they're playing. They're accustomed to playing against good competition. And I think the difference between the two, you know, when you look at the region play, I think from A to Z in our region, all teams are coached up really, really well. Like, they're all coached up.
Yeah.
Even, I believe that if you take the 5, 6, and 7 team out of the region that we're going to, they can go in some regions and make the playoffs. I really feel that way. So we definitely have our hands full every week. There is no such thing as a down week, which it never was anyway. Yeah. But, you know, it's going to be a 4-quarter game, 4-quarter war every week, and I think it's going to make for a great football season and excitement.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, season schedule, you know, we got a lot of the same teams that we're used to seeing, maybe a new one or two. Talk a little bit about the schedule for the year.
Yeah, well, you know, of course, we're opening up with Pike Road. This is the first time in school history that Prattville and Pike Road have played a football game, varsity football game. Second game, we'll have Stanhope, which we're accustomed to playing there.
Used to that one.
Yes, sir. You know, and then at the end of the year, we play JAG, which is the old JD.
Right.
So, you know, those are the non-region games. And then, you know, in our region, you know, we got the Thompsons, the Hoover, the Hewitts, Tuscaloosa County, Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa, Oak Mountain, Vestavia. You know, so we, you know, we definitely, you know, got a hands full. But like I said, it makes for a great football season, makes for great competition week in, week out. And I think it's going to make your players prepared for the playoffs because they've seen a lot of ball before playoffs, and they should be playing their best.
Yeah. So summer prep has led up to this. You know. I think you said I guess the summer program started the first week of June, with all focus and eyes on not tomorrow night, the date, but tomorrow night being the date that the season begins.
Right.
So I know we talked about preseason and the build up, but we're here, beginning of the season. Where's the team at? What are the thoughts on that?
I think they're definitely ready to play. They're tired of competing against each other day in and day out, and there's been a lot of competition. That's something that we've done this year. We made it a point. There is a winner and a loser in every rep that they take in practice.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I want to throw a shout out to our managers. We have some team managers, and those girls, they document everything. You know, we say, hey, the offense won this, the defense won this. They document everything, and it sometimes ends in an argument at the end of practice because everybody wants to know who won today.
No, we won.
There's got to be a score, and so those girls have that score. And so there's a winner and a loser every day at practice. And so, you know, and that's great competition as well, but I think they're ready to play against someone else. You know, I think they've done the work, they've done the little things, they've harped on the details that it takes to be a great football team, and I think they're ready to play.
Yeah, and I want to ask you a similar question that I asked Coach Pittman, and it's a tough question in that you want to name everybody, but who are some of the guys that we can really expect to see as potential standouts coming up this season? We'll hear their name a lot over the PA.
We'll start with the returning starters, you know, up front. We have Brian Moody. He's a returning starter for his offensive line. Zane Biscombe is a returning starter for us on the offensive line. Both of those guys, you know, have really grown, you know, in their role as far as being leaders, you know, but I'm expecting huge things out of those guys. You know, from the skill standpoint on the offense, you know, we have KJ Blue, who's been around forever.
Yeah.
He started as a sophomore, so he's a 3-year starter.
People try to throw his name in there with that Cam Shanks guy. I don't know. We'll see this year.
And I can see why. I can see why. He's definitely a gifted and talented
yes,
athlete.
He is.
Gavin Rigdon, returning starter for us at quarterback. Like I told you before the show, anytime that quarterback's a returning starter, you got to feel good about it.
Yeah.
He's seen some things. Tristan Blackman, he's one that you may want to know about. Didn't start last year. He played receiver for us last year, but he's transitioned into a running back role for us. So, man, he's had an extremely good camp. He's practiced hard. Spring, fall camp, he's coming into his own in the position, so I'm excited about him. Also receiver-wise, we have Brody Bowman, who's a senior. Kind of a silent guy, started for us from last year. But man, he's a playmaker.
Yeah.
So balls in the air, I feel pretty good about it. About it when he's there. Donovan Brown is a returning starter. He's a junior. So we have all those guys that have playing experience for us on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, when I look at what we have Callahan Minor started for us at defensive end.
Been around a little while.
Been around. We have Jake McConnell, who moved to D-line mid-season from linebacker and hadn't stopped yet. So I'm excited about him. We have Jamar Reed, who's a returning starter for us up front. And then we have Elijah Brown, who's getting notoriety.
So a little bit of excitement, buzz generating around that young man.
Yes, sir. Yeah. The sky's the limit for him. If he can continue to work, stay locked in mentally and all that kind of stuff, he's going to be fun to watch for the next few years.
Yeah.
Sam Cook.
And what year is he, by the way?
He's just going to be a sophomore.
Right.
Going to be a sophomore. Sam Cook at linebacker is a senior returning starter. I'm excited about him and where he's come from. Our nickel backer, we call him a nickel, but he's a hybrid DB, hybrid linebacker, Tim Rollinson.
Yeah.
When I talk about flipping the switch on in the offseason, he flipped the switch, and I seen him grow day in and day out. So I'm excited to see him. He's a leader. I'm excited to see him, do what he does. His little brother is actually getting a nod to start for us at linebacker as well, Trey Robinson.
Okay.
So both of those guys on the field together, I'm loving it. Safety-wise, Chris Clary. He started for us at safety. He played corner last year, and we made a transition for him to play safety. And he's another kid that's gotten better every week.
Yeah.
DJ Walton has turned heads. You're going to see a couple sophomores in the secondary, juniors in the secondary.
Exciting for the future,
Yeah. The future's going to be bright for those guys. I just want to see them play in the big-time game.
That's right.
And, Paxton Janola, let's talk about the kicking game.
Yeah.
Paxton Janola has taken reps at a punter and our kicker. He's man, he can do it. Starting to get a little Colin Rogers feel to him.
Yeah.
But
it's been a luxury. You've been blessed with some very skilled special teams guys.
Yeah,
we'll say it like that.
Yeah, and that's a big name I threw out. Colin is upper echelon, but man, this kid's got potential.
Yeah.
He's got some things about him.
So we're coming down to week 1, game 1, Pike Road Patriots, and our home away from home. What are we looking for tomorrow night out of them? I know there's no tape, so that makes it, that's a challenge.
Yeah, it's no tape out there of those guys, so we're having to piece stuff together and go off of details that we know and what we've seen in the past. But, I think, offensively, I think whatever mindset they're going to come into the game with, I think that that's what they're going to try to hang their hat on. I don't think they're going to dabble around a little bit too much. I think whatever they approach that game with, that's who there's going to be. And so we got to be ready to definitely stop the run versus them because they've got a talented running back. And they got a quarterback that can deal it around the field a little bit. Heard of a couple of receivers that may have moved in or whatever that are very good athletes. So they have skilled players. O-line is a good size O-line. They get downhill, they run, get to the next level well. Defensively, they attack the ball, man. They swarm. I think they're going to blitz a lot. I think that's something that they're going to try to hang their hat on. They're going to try to put Gavin in some distress situations.
Sure.
So, we got to be able to handle those pressures, and I think they're going to pressure early. I think they're going to blitz, in the first 4 plays again, they're going to blitz 2 or 3 times. I don't think they're going to play a lot of base. So we're prepared for that. We've gone in, feeling like that's what they're going to do. And feeling good about it.
That's awesome. So tomorrow night, home away from home, we got about 30 seconds. What does it mean for the Prattville Nation to be there?
Man, I think, the first game of the year in this new environment, I think is going to be crucial, to get this thing started the way it needs to be started. Being able to be at capacity at Wetumpka is going to be huge, for the start of the season. It's going to catapult into this tough region that we're going into. We're not going into a region that's, that's a rinky-dink region, so to speak. I mean, we're leaving a big dog region, going to a big dog.
Just another big dog region.
And so we got to be able to match that energy, and our fans got to be able to come in and you know, and be loud and make it a hostile environment for our opponents.
With that said, fans, the school has put out maps of the stadium and the parking areas. If you don't know where to go, just go to Prattville Live on Facebook, and I've seen that stuff reposted there. You can get a good feeling of where to go when you get there. Get there a little bit early because it is a new environment, but I think it's incredibly crucial for the Lion Nation to be there. Well, Coach, thanks for being here tonight. Fans, thank you for tuning in. This has been the JB Wallace Show. We'll see you next Thursday.
Okay, we're good.
Got it.
See you tomorrow.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
And the Kalen DeBoer Show, live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa on the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Let's get out of here again. Alabama wins it.
Hey Coach, and the Kalen DeBoer Show is presented by Alpha Insurance. You do your thing. We've got you covered. Also brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide. Everwood, the official treated lumber of Alabama athletics. Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. And by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Did he get to the first down? He did. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Now, here's the voice of the Crimson Tide, Chris Stewart.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Hey Coach, coming to you live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill right here in Tuscaloosa. Hey Coach, presented by Alpha Insurance, auto, home, life, business. Alpha Insurance covers it all. AlphaInsurance.com. A full lineup as we are in week number 2 for this season of Hey Coach during the Alabama athletic year. Coming up in just a few moments, Alabama soccer coach Wes Hart will be our first guest out of the gate. 2 of his student athletes will be checking in with us as well. Look forward to talking with them as their home portion of the schedule gets underway tomorrow night. We're going to talk with Coach Hart about that. Also, the other version of football, as you may be aware, is not far around the corner from getting started in Tuscaloosa as well. The general manager on